Alright, hello, good morning. I have not done very good at posting these daily recordings, but today's Friday Eve, Thursday, August 24th, 2023. Welcome. I had some C4 at C4 o'clock. Ate a little breakfast of some kind. I don't know, sometimes I get in this kind of like, okay, I know I'm trying to eat healthy, but when somebody else buys food that's not healthy, and then I don't want to waste it, so I try to make a healthier version of it, even though it's not really that healthy. So, my mom was nice yesterday and ordered some pancakes, and it was like the McDonald's breakfast that has the three pancakes, the hash brown, the sausage patty, the bacon, the egg, and the biscuits, like the two side of the biscuit. And I'm like, that's a lot of just protein and carbs. So, first of all, I was like, I need to kind of fix that. Strangely, like, I could smell the sugar in the pancakes. Like, I haven't been, like, I don't know if C4 has sugar in it. Let me check. It is sweet, though. It tastes like red Kool-Aid. The fruit punch one does. Total sugar 0 grams. But I don't know if it has, it's got all this other stuff. It has, citric acid, natural and artificial flavors. So it's got artificial flavors. I know it's not natural, completely. Silicon dioxide, I don't know what that is necessarily. Calcium silicate, sucralose. So I don't know what sucralose is, but I think those types of things are sugar related things, right? Like the things with the OS in them, the OSC at the end. Acesulfame, potassium, FD and C, red number 40. That red number 40. This one's kind of funny too because it's the color's kind of white. It's like an off-white, and then when you mix it with water, it turns red. The other ones I've had, the one in the black container, this is the gray container. The one in the black container, it's usually already red. This one's kind of like, I don't know if you'd even call it pinkish. Like it's kind of more of like a white, or like an off-white, like like it's it says it supports hydration. I don't really know. I don't know. I keep looking at this container because I'm just so curious. I am curious to like learn way more about this kind of stuff. I'm kind of a nerd, and I'm kind of lately getting really interested in certain things. But basically, I kind of redoctored my McDonald's from yesterday. I really don't like eating leftover fast food, but I was like, it's there. All I gotta do is heat it up in the microwave or whatever. So I basically took out 2 pancakes, took out a sausage, took out the bacon, took out the 2 the halves of the biscuit. So it was just the egg, the 1 pancake, the hash brown. I added avocado, like a whole avocado. I added some of my own salsa. Not, I didn't make it, but it's my own salsa. I added some of this probiotic kraut. I've been trying to eat a little more, or consume a little bit more probiotics. Um, so I have this kraut. It's by Cleveland brand from Sprouts. I just finished the kimchi yesterday. It's not an Asian brand of kimchi. It's an American made brand of kimchi. So it tasted basically like what you would expect, like an American version of kimchi. Uh, very, but I mean, I feel like it's healthy. That's the whole point. It's like, let's add something healthy, you know? So I'm like, okay, an avocado. I mean, add an avocado, add some kraut. I mean, I could have done without the pancakes, but I only ate one of them. I was only gonna eat half of it, and I was like, let me just eat one. And then I ate the hash brown, which, I mean, it's technically potatoes, but it's like dehydrated and then re deep fried or whatever, or frozen, or I don't know what it is. It's like frozen and then deep fried, so it's not like healthy. I don't think it's deep fried in like olive oil or anything like that. Even like, I would not assume McDonald's cares about that too much. The eggs aren't even like, I don't even think they're organic eggs. I think there's like some kind of mix. It's probably like, I don't think they're really cracking eggs. I don't know, but I don't know. I think it's the carton eggs, like the ones that are already like pre-mixed, and they're probably like, from the color of the yolk, they're not organic. They're like, usually yolk is like orange if it's organic, it's yellow if it's not. And then I know when you mix it in with the whites, it does get a little more yellowed, but I mean, this is bright yellow. So usually when I see bright yellow eggs, I'm like, it's not organic eggs. Um because we buy organic eggs, at least when I'm in charge of purchasing them. I try to make sure they're organic, free range, just put everything on the, organic free range. Like, we want them as good as possible. And based on how my stomach was feeling before I ate, I was like, well, let me, decrease the meat, because I did have a bison burger for dinner. So I'm like, I don't really want to add more meat. Because my stomach was feeling kind of strange this morning. I've been having some weird, not like terrible intestinal issues, but a little odd. Um, so I've been trying to pay attention to that. But the C4 uh was a substitution for coffee, because I was like, I want to get in a workout before I get on with my morning. So I'm just waiting for the caffeine to kind of, like, for the food to kind of pass, and then I'm gonna work out from home, because I've got some other driving around to do today, so I don't really want to waste too much time going to and from the gym. I'll decide if, when I'm out, if I want to end my day at the gym before I come home. But I've been trying to do that a couple times this week, and I noticed I just didn't go to the gym. So I'm like, nah, I'm trying to at least do the bare minimum of, a couple workouts a week, like bare minimum. And I'm trying to at least be pretty strict with it, but it's not easy. But, today's going to be one of those days that, regardless of how I feel, I'm going to do what I need to do. And I wish I could do that every single day, but today, like Thursdays, I don't know, there's some days that I kind of pick to do that. And I've kind of got a weird mentality about my weeks. I was kind of thinking about that this morning. I was like, I've got a weird mentality about my weeks. And so, people know, I was kind of raised with this, Sabbath culture, and, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, and, a form of a Sabbath culture. I wouldn't call it like directly like the Jewish Sabbath. It has some overlapping similarities, but it's not the same thing. But I was raised with that, and I do find some value in, maybe not like the religion part of it, but more so just like the balance part of it, and just kind of like putting in specific things to do to kind of balance things out, like with purpose, and being very intentional for like a 24-hour period of the week. So I'm not doing it. I mean, I'll decide what I'm going to do, but for example, I've talked about it before. like sometimes during those time periods I'll be kind of offline more, or maybe I won't go on Instagram at all, or maybe I'll only watch content of like certain types, like maybe I only want to watch stuff about like history and nature for like a day and I'm not watching any dramas, or maybe I'll only watch like sports and psychology or something like that. Like if I am gonna tune into stuff, like maybe it'll only be like in certain, with a certain focus, or I'll just try to like, not even for religious reasons, but like try to like distance myself from certain online things, especially because I spend so much time online, guys. Like, to save money, a lot of my hobbies and things are online. Like, I do like getting out and stuff, but I was kind of playing with the idea last night. um yeah, I recorded my daily episode last night or yesterday evening before the sun was going down, and then um I don't know if I finished recording at around 8 p.m. or something like that for that part. And then, so it was at the end of the day. And so, pretty much for the end of the day yesterday, I did another recording until like 9 p.m. Then I was like, okay, I gotta like start my night routine. So, just a whole like wash up a little bit, brush my teeth, lights out kind of situation. But I did feel like I wanted to stay up late last night. That was on purpose. It wasn't the best of ideas, but I was like, I found something. It was kind of funny. Like when I was recording something last night, it was kind of, I was kind of like a religion related topic, religious cultural topic. And then in my mind, I was like, I wonder. I haven't followed up with Eli Yoder's content. Like, he's the guy who was previously Amish growing up, like 20 or something years ago. And then I was like, I also haven't followed up with that Cults to Consciousness podcast. And so I was kind of like, I wonder. And so I went and watched some of Eli Yoder's shorts on YouTube. And, I caught up with some of them. His are really short, so they're kind of easy to, like, watch. And then I saw, I went to, her name is Anshali Sola. I went to her Close to Consciousness YouTube channel, and I was like, I kind of scrolled past them because I don't really like the ones about like sexual abuse, and like there's some topics I'm kind of not really trying to listen to. But then I scrolled down and I saw Eli Yoder, and I was like, it's weird when stuff like that happens, when it's like I was recording on topics about specific religious subjects, like topics based on like movies, like some recent movies I've watched, and just some concepts that came up in those movies. Like, I'm not trying to like promote people to become a religion, or like trying to like sway people from being whatever religion they want to do. Like, I'm just talking about movies basically, and just kind of like the cultural aspect of what's being talked about in some of the movies that I find interesting, and then I try to like relate it to my own, any kind of similar experiences that I've kind of witnessed in my own experiences when I was growing up in a religious environment. And so I kind of like to look at that, like zoom in, then zoom out, And so it was just, it's just in case people find it entertaining. I like recording about it. I like thinking about it and stuff, and just kind of like challenging ideas and stuff, reflecting on certain stuff. And then like that's how I started thinking about, I was like, yeah, I really like those guys' content, but I haven't tuned into any of it in a really long time. So it was just kind of weird how like I was thinking about both of their channels, and then right when I went on their channels, I went on Eli Yoder's channel. Then when I went on the Cults to Consciousness channel, once I scrolled past the ones I didn't want to watch, Eli Yoder's episodes came up next, and he has like 2 on there from like 3 weeks ago. Because I don't watch it every recording. I just stopped tuning in, and then I switched my YouTube account to a different to a different Google account, and so I don't have all my favorites and everything saved in there. Like in my main one that I usually have had for like years. I'm just using a different one. So yeah, I'm basically just doing that, and then that's what I was doing last night, and then this morning, yeah, I woke up and I was like not feeling too good. Um, not like just because I stayed up late. That's more so what it was. I think I went to sleep after 12:30 or something. I don't know for sure if it was one. I can't really remember, but I remember being tired around 12:30, and I was like, I'm just gonna turn this off. But I was listening to like those episodes last night. It might have been 1 a.m. when I was going to sleep, and then I woke up before 6. I woke up kind of at 6, and then I was like, I'm just gonna lay here till like 7 something, so that I can know that I at least, laid down for like 6, 7 hours, even though I didn't maybe sleep the whole time. And I was like, like I was kind of having one of those headaches. Um, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know. It's probably TMI, but like, those headaches where you kind of, it's like one of those, like if you're kind of backed up kind of headaches. Like I feel like when I eat red meat, it kind of does that to my system. But I try to eat bison meat every now and then like, but I kind of got to get it like out of my system, if that makes sense. Like it kind of, I don't know, it's TMI, but I mean, I think that's kind of normal for a lot of people, that like red meat is kind of like maybe not the easiest on digestion. So I try not to eat it too much, but I've had it. I think we had those kebabs on the weekend, on like Saturday, and those, I kind of had some trouble with those too. Like my stomach wasn't really into it. So I'm gonna probably, that's part of the reason why I skipped the meat this morning. I know pork isn't red meat, but I was like, McDonald's backs me up anyways. Like McDonald's is just disgusting food. Like it's not healthy. Like I don't feel better after eating that necessarily. Um, but I had C4 like once I was gonna get up, and I was like, it kind of just, coffee is the same way. It kind of just gets everything out quick. If I haven't eaten anything yet, so I had that earlier and then ate the meal after. So the kind of edited meal. So it was like, I wouldn't even call it healthy. It was just like a I don't think it was a good food decision for me this morning, but did I don't know. It was kind of like a toss up between, do I cook the things that I normally cook that are healthier, or do I eat this unhealthier thing and just kind of take out the stuff that I'm not going to eat? Like I didn't throw out the other stuff. I put it in like cling wrap and put it in the fridge, and if my mom wants to eat it, she can eat it, but I'm not going to eat any more of it. But there's still sausage and bacon and the pancakes and the other stuff, and I think we have a couple boiled eggs in there already. So I think she can eat that for breakfast if she wants. Um, I'm not gonna eat any more of it. Like I'm kind of like, okay, I'll do. I'm not saying that I eat that healthy, all the time, but I can't keep, keep not eating healthy. You know what I mean? Just because, like, oh, somebody bought me this, so I can't throw it away and waste it, or so, or oh, like I'm tired, so like I'd rather eat this instead, or oh, like I do feel kind of bad or guilty if somebody buys me something that's unhealthy, even though I wasn't intending to eat that. But I do think that there's nothing wrong with being stricter with your food, especially when you're someone like me who's been trying to work on their health and clearly has some other things going on. So it's like, why not be more strict with it? Like that's the only way really for things to get better. So, something to work on for sure. But I did what I could to kind of, I sat with it for like a minute or so, and I was like, I'll eat it. It's kind of like a good faith gesture. Like I'm not under any, I don't think me and my mom have any negativity between us, but I just think it's kind of like, okay, somebody goes out of your way to spend, and not only just get food, but they went out of their way to buy something this overly priced because it gets delivered. So she ordered this food by like Uber Eats or like Grubhub or whatever it was to get delivered yesterday. So this is an expensive McDonald's. It's not even the expensive like you go and pay 12 bucks for a combo. It's like, okay, now you add all the fees and delivery fees and tipping and all that other stuff plus the tax and everything. Like you're paying probably about $20 for each of the meals. So it's kind of a lot of money to waste all the food. So I'm like, okay, it can show that I ate some of it, and then I just kind of packed up the other stuff that I'm not gonna eat, and she can eat it if she wants to eat it, because she doesn't really try to like, she's not really focused on like what she's trying to eat or not eat. I mean, I would rather her not eat it, but I'm not here to make decisions for other people. And then if she's gonna eat it anyways, at least that could save her from having to cook a meal. Like she could just reheat that stuff. So, but I'm not gonna eat it. Like my stomach can't handle eating that kind of stuff all the time. So I did a version of eating some of it, and I'm just not gonna eat the rest. But yeah, so today I've got just this workout I've got to do. I'm supposed to be hydrating right now. I've got this workout I've got to pump out from home. I've got, you know, I've got an appointment I've got to be at like 12. So I'm trying to decide if around 11 something, if I'm gonna go drop off something to my friend's house that I said I was gonna take to them. I feel like I should just do it today and just get it out of the way. So maybe I'll do that first before the appointment, then get to the appointment, and then I got this gig I gotta do. I think I'm dropping in on one of the apartment sites. But before I do all that, like, so before around 11 or something, after I work out, I've got to submit these job application things. So these are jobs I don't want. So I've really been sitting on my ass about it. But I'm like, I've got goals for like winter. You know, I've got New Year's Eve concerts I'm trying to get to. I've got other concerts in the next year that I'm trying to get to. I've got some snowboarding passes I'm about to need to buy. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm trying to get for the winter season that's, you know, fast approaching. But usually once it's like fall, I'm really trying to like get my money in order for winter. So I'm kind of willing to take some of this work that may or may not be worth it, but I'm like, you know, I can work for just money. I mean, I did it for a while, you know, and I'm not trying to create patterns where I'm like just not doing what I said I was going to do, but it's like at some point it's like I've got other goals I'm trying to reach. So it's like if I'm not fully getting to where I'm trying to get, you know, I'm thinking about it, but it's kind of creating a little bit more chaos in my days, because I do feel like Uber Eats is, even though you know it's a little bit of a payout in the day that I'm doing it, it doesn't always pay. Like I think there have been those 3 times. I think I've spent maybe a total of, let's call it 3 to 4 hours total of working without getting anything out of it, like without getting any orders. And so because I've spent that amount of time, I'm like, you know, like not consecutively in one day, but of all the time I've been doing this, I think there've been probably like 4 hours where I wasn't actually working. I mean, if I count the actual like active time versus the time when I have started the app and I start driving towards the hot spots, it's probably more than that, because I don't live near most of the hot spots I drive towards. Like I'd say at minimum, I mean sometimes I've gotten orders like within 10 or 15 minutes, and then sometimes I think on average it takes about 30 or so, a little more than 15 somewhere near 30. Once I get to a certain area near the mall, that's a place that I have gotten some orders at. Um, but then I'd say most of the time I get orders like double the distance from there. So usually it's about maybe 40 minutes in that because I'm driving towards the hotspots, but I'm not taking the most direct route. I'm kind of driving the main streets instead of the freeways, because like even though the freeway's faster, like the main streets actually go past like restaurants. So I drive down some of the busier streets where I know I've usually been getting orders, like Crenshaw. Crenshaw's a big one. Artesia's a big one. They're just like there's certain streets that I just kind of drive down because I tend to get orders just like because there's a lot of hot spots in those regions, and then I usually land over in Compton. Like once I get to Compton, with the exception of twice now, I've not gotten orders, but I kind of see it. Like I'm looking at the map and I kind of see the hot spots disappearing, and it is my own choice to be like, okay, I'm gonna turn around and go back home. But I've also seen other people that I've been following online. Like there's somebody who posts a lot lately, and she's had days where she's waited like an hour and a half and not gotten any orders. So it's stuff like that where I'm like, yes, it's money. Yes, usually it works out, but it is a little bit of a crapshoot, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm really gaining any skills from this. I'm not really. It's just kind of like a little of a game, kind of like I kind of treat it like, all right, like let's see how much money I can make. I've got the time and energy to go do it, and I've got little financial goals like this trip coming up late September. So I'm like, I've kind of got that mentality around it, but it's not really like building work skills. It's just money for like projects and like hanging out and like, a little bit of savings and that kind of stuff. Like it's not something that I intend to keep investing so much energy into. So I feel like I'd almost rather take a job I don't want that pays better, pays more, even if it is far. I'd almost rather do that at this point than keep doing Uber Eats, because I do have other options. Uber Eats is not the only option. Uber Eats is the most convenient option if I don't care how much money I'm making, just so I have a way of making money in a very flexible way. I feel like it's the most flexible way to make money where I'm not on the clock for somebody else. Like pizza delivery is probably the second, I would say, to this type of delivery, like pizza delivery, Amazon delivery, but still you have to like work for these companies and be on the clock and on the schedule. And versus Uber Eats, you just choose if you're going to log in or not. And then choose if you're going to drive or just sit still and see if you just get any orders. But that's kind of like where my head is about it. I'm like, I'd kind of rather do anything else that's like at least building skills. So there's options of further building skills in a field that I don't want to be in anymore, but the pay might be good, but the distance is far and the stress might be high, uh, but the pay would be good. And then there's the other option of commission only work, that might be okay. um, who knows if I'm going to make money with it or not, but the skills are more in alignment with some of the skills are more in alignment with what I'm trying to get into doing anyways, or just keep applying to stuff, or not do any of that and just build up my own projects and make money off my own projects. Because if I do make money off of my own stuff if I put in the effort, but it takes like a long time to be like, okay, market yourself, get customers and all this kind of stuff so you can like do like little digital marketing gigs. And it's like, for me, it's like I love it, but at the same time it's like people are picky and sometimes they don't know how to explain what they want, and then it's like it just gets a little tricky sometimes. And so there is this kind of toss up between like the freelancing world and the whole 1099 and freelancing kind of thing versus like work for a corporation that's just going to dictate a lot more to you. That's kind of how I feel about it. But I don't know. It's one of those things, that I often wonder. I'm like, is this like one of those first world problems kind of issues? It's like a land of opportunity. Yes, we can complain that the pay rates aren't good and the gas is too high and the rent is too high. Like, these are all true things. Wages aren't fair, taxes suck in California. Like, there's a lot of stuff for sure. It's not perfect, but so I think we have every right to complain about major corporations taking advantage. But also, it's like, I don't really like. I'm not really into not having. I don't know, like, because it's not like I don't work. Like, the whole time I've been off, other than the months that I said I wasn't gonna work, like January, February, March, uh, into like almost mid-April. I didn't really. I don't think I was doing Uber Eats during those times. I don't think I was like actively making a lot of money. Like, I had like monetized accounts and stuff that I was like putting effort into, but other than that, I wasn't really like making money since like mid-April, when I was like, okay, it's time to like actually do at least side hustles. Um I try to at least make up for the expenses that I accrue, or the expenses I'm about to accrue. Um, so that's kind of my mentality around it, is like, the savings I have, I'm no longer touching that. That was for a specific time, and now I'm in this other time. And September was kind of my deadline initially for like moving. Um, I was like, I can take a year off, but it's almost been a year. We're coming up on 9 months. And I'm like, okay, I've had enough of a break. I don't think that I'm gonna get things rolling much more if I have more of a break. Like, I don't feel like having more time off is gonna help me more. Like, I think at this point, I need the momentum from something bigger. Because I'm kind of like, I'm getting a little restless, a little. I can tell I'm getting bored because I'm trying to add so many projects. I'm like, when I start getting in a mode where I'm like, oh, I want to do this and like do this and do that, like, I'm like, all right, I'm bored. I need a challenge. I need a challenge with like a lot more accountability behind it. I feel like the issue too with like Uber Eats and these mystery apartment things and all this other stuff, it's like, there's no, like, nobody's telling me, what did you do? What's your goals? Like, whatever. I just make them up as I go. Like, I talk about it on the pods and stuff, and other than that, there's no real accountability. Like, I don't have to follow through with any of it. How many times do I say I'm gonna go to the gym? I don't go do it. Like, there's certain stuff where I'm like, I'm just not doing it. And, the way I create structure in my days is not really the best way all the time. But I mean, I think, a push at this time isn't bad. Like, I had definitely a long time period where I was like, I can't deal with any more of these pushes. Like I definitely needed a break for sure. But I think I'm over it. I've kind of developed a lot of ideas. I've kind of got the ball rolling on a lot of projects. I think if I was working somewhere else, I could still continue, applying for the jobs I want, as well as doing all these other things that I'm trying to do for my health. Um, Now, I don't. Uh, um, Sorry, I'm kind of trying to think. I don't know um, how much adding something new is gonna like drain my energy, but I'm willing to kind of compromise with my own goals a little bit right now, just to get to some of the other goals. Like, right now, I've got the financial goals. Right now, my goal is by the end of this year to replenish all the money I spent at the beginning of the year. Um, it would just happen a lot faster if I was not working doing Uber Eats. Like, it's just not decent enough money. It is flexible, but when I put together the amount of hours, because I don't do it for like 8 hours a day and I don't do it every day. So it's like when I put together the amount of hours that I spend actually doing it compared to the amount of money I'm getting out of it. Like it was exciting when it was new. It's no longer exciting. It's now more of like an annoyance. So I'm like, I want to fill the gas tank, so I got to go drive around for like a few hours just so I can go make the money to fill the tank. It's like it's kind of like counterintuitive, you know. Um or I could take a job where I'm spending about $20 a day in gas estimated, but then making $40 a day more than what I would have been making than what I made before. So it's like take a job I don't want that I already know how to do that I did before for an additional $20 a day basically. And I'd say taking, let me see if I do the calculation of how many hours. So it would be 3 hours, about 3 hours out of my day of driving for an extra $20 a day more than what I was making. So that's 3 hours out of my day just for the commute. I mean, I could probably get somewhere in like an hour and 15, but you know, out here it's like if I know it's going to take over an hour in traffic, I'll usually leave at least 90 minutes early. And so just so there's that, like I try to give at least a 30-45 minute buffer. I'd rather be somewhere 30 minutes early than 30 minutes late. So it's like I do like having that comfort buffer, even though it does cut into the time. Like, what are you going to do for 30 minutes every day sitting in your car at work? You know, it's like I know before when I used to do that when I went to school in Irvine. I would get there early so that I would buy my breakfast every day that I would go to class. Almost every day I would get a loaded breakfast burrito. Not healthy, but I would get it almost every day. Eat it once I parked. So it took like maybe 15 minutes to eat that, and I was calmly eating. I wasn't like scarfing it down or rushing. So that's how I would have my breakfast. I didn't really have breakfast in the morning. I'd have breakfast when I got out there because I was leaving at like 6:30 in the morning, and I'd get there a little after 7:30 and eat my or a little before 7:30, eat my breakfast around 7:30. Class would be at 8. And so at, about 15 minutes before class or so, I'd start like walking the class because it was, it's a big campus. So from where I parked, I would walk probably 10 minutes or 15 minutes almost to class. And so I did that for a while when I had early 8 a.m. classes. But yeah, I don't really want to do that anymore. Like, it's kind of like I told myself I'm not going to do that again. So it kind of would maybe make more sense to apply for something remote if I don't want it versus apply for something that's going to run me $20 a day. That's a lot of money, that's easily like $100 every 5 days just for gas, so it's like $400 a month just for gas, like that's a lot of money, and this car is like really old, so it's not like the more I drive it, the more I'm gonna need to get repairs on it. And so yeah, that's kind of where my head is. I'm like, there's a lot of decisions I've got to make, but today I'm kind of getting on tasks. So I've got to call back this job site. I'm gonna call them right now, and then I've got a resume that I've been slacking on submitting. I'm gonna submit that. I'm gonna reschedule the interview that I had scheduled for tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm gonna try to get a different one for either Sunday or Monday, preferably Monday. Because it's another job I don't want, so it's like I'm not gonna inconvenience myself to be interviewing at a time I don't want. Because I've got gigs I have to do tomorrow morning at like 10:30 and 11:30, so I'm not trying to be doing something right before I have to go do that, like doing an interview at like 9 and then having to like rush over to like Marina Del Rey or whatever. So I'm like, I don't really want to deal with that, so I'm just not going to. But Yeah, I'm gonna reschedule. It would be easy to reschedule. I'm just gonna reschedule. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of where I am with a lot of these things. I'm just gonna bang all that stuff out this week before the weekend, and then by the end of Friday, I'll figure out kind of what my plans look like for Friday night, for Saturday. Um, I don't think I'm going out this weekend. I might go out Saturday morning. I don't really know yet. I gotta figure that out probably by tomorrow. But yeah, with that, thanks for listening.